had the green flag, we've had the 5-second board, so it's Daniel Hans in the AHS Dominator on pole position, alongside him in the Bears GAC. Number 92, Craig Pollard. The race gets underway for 15 minutes. Around this 1.85 while Silverstone Circuit, and it's Craig Pollard that's gone into the lead of the race from Daniel Hans. Rick Lanier there is third. It looks like Andrew Cooper in the GAC slossing into fourth position. We need to try and keep an eye on James Harridge to see if he's able to make up some places as well. It looks like he might have made up a few as they went through the first few corners, but it's quite hard to pick out in such a big field.
Yeah, I suspect he's up half a dozen or so, but that's kind of the name of the game when you're running down through the slower cars. Always a lock up there for one of the GACs, wasn't it? I think it was. But they're all safely through, which is fantastic.
And Hans has got back through, but immediately he's going to be repassed by Pollard, isn't he?
Yep. Round the outside down to Stowe. Is that going to work, or is the inside line going to hold sway? Round the outside, 92. Absolutely superb.
So Pollard it is then, who won the championship a couple of years ago. He's 30 points behind James Harridge coming into this weekend. They've done most of the winning between them this season, although Daniel Hans won the last race of the championship at Snetterton. This is round 7 of the season. Hans won the championship in 2008, though. He took quite a long gap out of the championship before coming back about 3 years ago. And he's racing this AHS Dominator run by Alan Harding, and he's just got back into the lead ahead of Craig Pollard as they went into Abbey that time.
Yeah, this could go all the way, couldn't it? Because they're obviously very closely matched, and the nature of the circuit. Harridge up into 19th place in car number 1. The defending champion had to go from the back, so he's already a long way up the field.
Yeah, he's done a good job. Look at this, though. You can see the gap that the first two have pulled out already, Hans and Pollard. At the end of the first lap, it was 2.5 seconds or so over Andrew Cooper, the man from Bury St Edmunds. Pollard, again, using the toe down the hanger straight and goes around the outside of Hans at Stowe Corner. And I think you're right, Marcus, this could be a duel that goes on race long. And it's a shame in a way that we don't have James Harridge involved as well, because I'm certain if he had been there, it would have been a 3-car battle for the lead. Yeah,
but you know, it's going to slow them down. It won't really help the people who are running third because they're in their own battle, but it might help Harridge get up into that into the top 6. I'm sure it will.
Over the line they go then to complete another lap, and again we're going to have a change into Abbey Corner as Hans goes back up the inside of Pollard to retake the lead. So Hans, who has all of that experience, he briefly flirted with Formula Ford as well, but that didn't last terribly long. I think that ended in a roll here at Silverstone in the Walter Hayes Trophy on the national circuit several years ago now.
One's broken on the outside.
That's Cooper, who was third. So Andrew Cooper, who was in third position, has, well, not quite come to a halt, but he's going to park the car on the grass.
And that's the Gold Leaf team GAC, isn't it?
It is. And Ian Buxton now, who started the race in 8th place, he's up to 3rd position. He's a wily old campaigner as the two leaders go side by side once again into Stowe Corner. Yeah. And this time, Hans is able to rebuff Pollard. Well, he's not been able to do that on the previous couple of occasions. They're going to head down into Club, where they'll be confronted by yellow flags, I think, because of Cooper's car having pulled off. But I don't think we're quite into the yellow flag zone yet. But Hans, I think it's going to be that we'll be able to hold the lead all the way through Abbey this time. So they've led basically an entire lap as Andrew Cooper tries to find a way over the barriers.
Yeah, difficult that one, but it's Hans who's gone through the timing line first this time round by 27 hundredths of a second in number 2 from 92, which is Craig Pollard. Ian Buxton, who's been around this championship for a good 20 years, is next up. Lanny is 4th. Matt Harbert, a new name to me, is in 5th. Jack Wilkinson going really well in 6th in the 87. He leads the B class by a long way from, it's Harridge in 12th now, and Garner, his nearest rivals. Yeah,
so Harridge up to 12th place then, and how much ground has he got to make up? He's got easily 3 or 4 cars that will pass. He can certainly get up to 8th without too much more difficulty in this race, I suspect. This time Pollard is going to go back through at Stowe Corner, I think. We've still got 10 minutes of this race left to go, yet we've already had numerous lead changes. So Pollard, another Suffolk driver, goes back through. and Pollard won the championship in 2018. Last year it was Harwich that won the championship. Graham Gant won it in the intervening years as Hans gets back up the inside into the Vale that time. And Gant actually was the winner the last time these cars raced on this layout in 2019. He did the double, but we've not really seen him during the course of 2020 or 2021.
Very good engineer, works for Ilmore, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The Formula 1 engine people, and his car has always been really strong around here. The Web, the Worm's Eye View, a name that goes back into the 60s with the 750 Motor Club.
That was a good little group of cars heading over the line to complete their lap. It's now Ian Buxton there in third place as Hans and Pollard still nose to tail as they head through Village that time, heading off towards the link. But they're 6 seconds clear of Ian Buxton, number 69 in third place, 33 Matt Harbour in fourth, 24 Rick Lanier fifth, and Jack Wilkinson leading Class C. There's another car that's stopped there on the hanger straight, but it's going to get safely back behind the barriers. So there was yellows out.
Harwich now in number 1 up into 9th, incidentally, and Jack Wilkinson leads that class in 87, is 6th.
Yeah, he's been lapping in the 118s. The leader's lapping in the high 116s. The lap record for these cars is a 114, but I think that was set when the cars were on the old Dunlop tyres before they switched to Hoosiers a few years ago. Yeah,
both Harwich and Wilkinson, the Class B protagonists, did their best laps last time round. Harwich is 1700ths quicker than Wilkinson's.
Over the line to complete lap 5, 8.5 minutes left to go in the race. It's these two clearly the class of the field, but Ian Buxton that time, he's made a bit of a break from the rest. Matt Harbert there in the green number 33 AHS Dominator, he's having a good battle with the other one, in fact Rick Lanier. So the two AHS Dominator having a good scrap there, and Jack Wilkinson and Maurice Gloucester involved in all of that as well. Gloucester in the number 94 car, still sporting the colours and number that Aaron Trigwell used to race in the car, but now they've got James Harwich right behind them, so he's up to 8th, and easily he could vault these cars and get up into 4th position, I would think, Marcus, before the end of the race.
Yeah, that's really impressive from the back end of the grid for the number 1 driver, reigning champion James Harwich.
I can see there's a car off in the gravel at Vale, which will mean there's yellow flags as they approach the corner here.
Yeah, and they're approaching now.
And that's one of the GACs. It's the just trying to work out which one that was, what number that was that's gone on.
Had a 6 in it, I do know.
It did. I'll try and pick up on that in a second. It says 16, but I don't think we've got a 16 on the grid.
Huge lock up there, and we had Pollard over the line ahead, but Hans has taken him into Abbey.
16 was James Madden, by the way, so he was an addition to our... no, he wasn't, he was there on the entry. So here we are, side by side for the lead of the race, and it's Pollard losing out to Hans there. There's Jack Wilkinson just ahead of the 94 car of Maurice Gloucester, and so Harwich he's almost got to the front of this group already.
Well, Harwich is 5th
now,
and he leads Class B.
And there he goes, he's gone through to 4th. He's got past Rick Lanier as well.
This is an absolutely sensational drive from James Harwich in the Maverick, but we're used to against the odds drives in his case, aren't we?
So I think, he's about 14 seconds behind the leaders there with only 6.5 minutes to go, so he's not going to catch them, but he might catch Ian Buxton for 3rd place. I suggest he's about 6 seconds behind him. Yeah. He's been lapping in the 18s, and if Harwich can lap on the pace of the leaders, which I'm sure he can, he'll capture them.
Still waved yellows down here at the end of Vale, because the marshals have decided that that car will not be moved. But everyone's seen it now, they know where it is.
Yeah.
This is almost a luxurious lead, isn't it? It's coming onto a straight, but it's reduced again to 0.3, 0.29 to split a hair. Hands from Pollard.
Yeah, Pollard, who's been racing in Formula V for quite some time now, but 18 when he won the championship, that was a real breakthrough. He had wins before then and podium finishes. Hans won the championship in 08 when it was a real high quality battle with the likes of Martin Farmer, Sam Oliveira, Jake Oliveira. Very strong period in the late 2000s for the Formula V championship then. So here are the two leaders heading down the hanger straight. That's a back marker behind them, I think. We've got yellow flags. Does this mean that we've actually got the safety car? Yeah, the safety car's now out, or the yellow flag's now out and stuff. And yes, I can see the safety car is out there. It's not picked up the leader. It's picked up James Harridge, I think, in 4th position. So a bit like we had in the which race was it earlier on? It was the Type R Trophy race. No, the bike sports race, wasn't it? It picked up effectively a car just behind the leading
Now
contenders.
we've got 4 3/4 minutes to go. Is this race going to finish behind the safety car, or somehow are we going to see Buxton and Harridge reunited with our leaders, Hans and Pollard, who you see on your screen, 2 and 92. Buxton in 69 will be next up. Is that Buxton there?
Yeah.
Yes.
If we get any more racing, it's probably going to be a lap.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and you can see James Harris shaking his head. He's quite annoyed about that. He's thinking to himself, "Oh, he's waving. Get on with it. Come on, come on." He wants to be back on the back of the leaders.
Yeah.
For a chance for an overall podium.
Well, and you can bet your bottom dollar, as and when he does get waved through, he will be making progress to try and catch the leaders. Hans and Pollard and Buxton will be setting their own pace at the moment.
You can see, if you're new to Formula V, you can see these cars retain the VW Beetle type front suspension, those beams, etc. They have the air-cooled flat 4 engine, 1300cc, and the 4-speed gearbox. And there's the digger, the 4-wheel drive. Put a strop round the roll cage of the 16 Madden car that's in the gravel.
So they've hooked it up and should be able to take it away fairly quickly. It's
going to be a one-lap dash,
yeah,
isn't it? Again,
just as in bike sports, it's going to be a one-lap run to the flag.
But the field won't be reunited, I don't think.
No.
It can't be at this point.
No, because there's a minute between Hans and Harris, so he's not going to make that up. So that's a frustration for him, because if the safety car had picked up the leaders, then he would have been right with them and with a chance of victory.
Which, in fairness, it's not obliged to do.
No. It needs to be able to pick up the car safely. That's of paramount importance. Ideally, it would pick up the leaders.
Yeah.
But it has to pick up the train of cars in a safe way as well. So a frustration here for Harridge, but nevertheless he has got back to 4th position, so that's at least something from the back of the grid. But he would have, ironically, had the race continued without the safety car, he probably wouldn't have progressed much from 4th position anyway. He might have got 3rd. He wouldn't have caught the 2 leaders though.
Yes, there was a possibility that Buxton was in range in 69,
yeah.
But
the leader was certainly behind him, and it would only be a safety car that could have brought them into range.
Yeah, Buxton's been racing that particular car for a very long time, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's had various wins and various accidents in it as well down the years, but he's a stalwart competitor. It's good to see the Staffordshire man back, another one who is a great competitor. So Harridge has been released and now is on a mission to try and catch the train without necessarily overdoing it and blasting off it completely top speed, because that might not go down too well with the
officials. He's got Lanny behind 24, hasn't he? The white car with the red stripes.
Yes. Harridge in that self-built Maverick car that he and his dad put together over the years, effectively in the garage. A real true Clubman 750 Motor Club type.
And here we are with a minute to go. We do have the leaders behind the safety car.
And we should be able to get going again for one final lap, but you've only got the 3 cars together. But that still gives us a race, doesn't it? In particular, between Hans and Pollard, who changed the lead numerous times before the safety car came out.
That's right, and there's a reprise also, potentially, for Ian Buxton in the white car that's in the foreground of your photograph. The lights are out on the Renault. Scarpa's into the pits. Now, Buxton gets a really clean exit from Club Corner by a little bit of guile. Then there's a chance he could nick a place into Village, if not Abbey. It's not close enough quite. But He's in striking range.
He is, as the green flag waves. Race gets back underway for one final lap. Pollard pulls out to the left-hand side of the circuit. Can he go around the outside into Abbey? I'm not sure that he can. So Hans, number 2, continues to lead number 92, Craig Pollard. So we're working this final lap of the Heritage Park Centre Formula V Championship race. Pollard tries to get alongside down into the village hairpin. Buxton still with them, but just not quite there in striking distance. But if they fall over one another, he's in prime position.
And you don't want to lead onto the Hanger Straight particularly, do you? Because you are a sitting duck at that point if your opponents get better exits, and Pollard does. Will that cumulative tow work for Buxton and bring him into it as well? But the black car of Craig Pollard down the inside, they're running side by side down towards Stowe, and Craig Pollard isn't quite close enough, but he may have territorial advantage on the inside, and Buxton trying to go with him, but it's Hans who's controlling the situation as if in the centre of a squash court on the tee. He's got, and a big lock-up from Pollard. Has that undone his challenge?
I think it might have done, but I don't think it's going to bring Buxton into it, which might have been the danger. So out of the final corner, the checkered flag is made ready, I can see. And it goes out now, so it's Danny Hans who does well there to lead all the way around that final lap of the race to get the win from Craig Pollard by a quarter of a second, with Ian Buxton in third place. Now let's see if we can pick up the battle for fourth. Well, I think James Harridge has already scampered away from this, so that's Matt Harbert in the foreground. You can see there the number 33 car in 6th position. Yeah, that's Harridge. Look how far up the road he's gone already in the course of just over a lap of running. So he's going to come home to take 4th position. And Tim Probert in the 60 car was going to make ground there. There's Harridge.
And so he's going to have to do it all again in the other race as well, won't he?
Again, yeah, second fastest qualifying time. So we're at the back of the grid in race 2. He takes 4th position. Rick Lanier over the line to take 5th. Matt Harbert, number 33, takes 6th position, which is his joint best result. Tim Probert came through to take 7 in the end, ahead of Jack Wilkinson, number 87 in 8th place. Ben Cressy 9th, and Maurice Gloucester rounding out the top 10. I can see one car has gone off on the final lap. That's the Emil Kostazinov AHS Challenger. That's come to a halt somewhere. But the rest of the field all coming over the line now to complete their race.
Obviously, Exeter Village, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. It is over at that end of the circuit. So he's, in fact, it's at Stowe.
No, it's at Stowe.
Stowe, yep.
Funny place to go around.
It is, but nevertheless, he managed it. And Emil he'll be back to fight another day in race 2 a little bit later on. But Danny Hans there taking the win by 0.2 of a second from Craig Pollard, so 2 from 92. Ian Buxton 69 in third place. Number 1, James Harridge, coming from the back of the grid to take 4th position in the Maverick. Number 1, 5th 24, Rick Lanier in the Dominator. 6th, Matt Harbert 33, and another of the AHS Dominators. Then Tim Probert was 7th in car 60. 8th was number 87, Jack Wilkinson. 9th, number 11, Ben Cressy. And 10th, number 94, Maurice Gloucester.
Yeah, three AHS Dominators in the top 6 there.
Yeah, and Lon Harding will be delighted with that. Simon Foley, 32 in 11th place. Then Peter Studer, 12th, number 4. 13th, number 10, Bill Garner. 14th, 43, Vaughan Jones. 15th, 75, Mark Egan. Then Phil Waterhouse, Jamie Harrison, Peter Cann, Daniel Lanier, and Richard Rainbow rounding out the top 20. Matt Topham was 21st, ahead of Simon Livesley. Alan Robinson, James Huckle, Sam Engineer, Rachel Swain, Chris Wilshire, and then getting to the line in the end, Emil Kostantinov, Craig Hubbard and James Madden didn't make it to the end of the race. So that was the Heritage Park Centre Formula V Championship. They'll be closing our programme today at around about 5:30. There's Craig Pollard getting out of his car, having taken 2nd position. There, though, is our race winner, Danny Hans, in the 3 Bridge Campers overalls. That's his business. Josh Barrett, I can see down there in the pit lane.
So we're down here after the first of 2 Formula V races today, and it's Danny Hans at the winner. So Danny, I'll give you your winner's garland. And a really, really close race with Craig throughout the 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant race. Fair play to Craig. We fought hard, fair, give each other room, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that race.
And do you think there's anywhere your car's better than the GAC?
To be fair, it's quite evenly matched. I think it was pretty much a slipstream battle there. There was nothing between us anywhere on the track, really. So yeah, I'm just glad to just be in the right place at the right time. The safety car that threw in a bit of a curveball. I didn't know how many laps would be left after the safety car. I just assumed it'd be one, so I just went really defensive. I kind of followed where Craig was kind of quicker than me, especially on the slipstream. So I just tried to position my car on the last lap to be in the position where I could try and get around the penultimate corner in the lead. So luckily it worked.
And I guess an unusual situation where you just had one car to battle with around here.
Yeah, it was really, because normally it's a trio of us, isn't it, with James and Craig and myself. But unfortunately for him, he had must have had an oil problem in qualifying. So yeah, I mean, I think he did quite well. Looking at his car, I think he came quite high up. So fourth, that's a good drive from last. So yeah, fair play to him. So.
Well done, the championship's going the right way for you at the moment. So Danny Hans, our winner. Second was Craig Pollard. Craig, like I was saying to Danny, a really close race as usual around Silverstone.
Yeah, I was planning on probably letting Danny go for a couple of laps and trying to break the toe from James. I knew he was going to come through the pack, but had a couple of goes at Danny, and I don't think we had the legs on him today. So I think we're going to have to do something for race 2.
Lots of people talking to me about the rain. Is that something that would help you out?
Yeah, I think we've always gone well in with a wet setup on the car. So I think if the second race was wet, but the forecast is changing all the time, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
It's been like that the last couple of weeks, hasn't it? And so going into, if it's a dry race, is there anything you think can do to the car to beat Danny?
Minor changes. I think it's just not letting Danny get away, keep hounding him, and hope that you come out at the bottom of hangar first rather than second. So yeah.
Well done on your second place. In third was Ian Buxton. Ian, you came through quite a big group of cars there to get third.
Yeah, it was a bit of a lonely race till the pace the car come out, and then we were quite close together for the one lap we raced.
You're quite glad that James weren't behind you on that restart?
Yeah, it was good.
And I think you didn't do the start of the season, did you? So coming back.
No, I did Snatterton with the first 2 I did, which I got 2 thirds, and this is my 3rd race at season. I got another 3rd, so.
Lots of new people coming to Formula V recently. A big grid. How are you finding it all going?
You have to be very careful when you overtake them.
Right.
It's all right with the leading bunch because you can trust them, but the newcomers, they can soon take you out.
What do you think it is that makes Formula V so popular, perhaps with new drivers?
Well, it's the cheapest entry level into single-seaters, isn't it? And it is close racing, and it's the most affordable.
And now looking for another third later?
No, when?
Good luck on that. So that's our top 3 from the Formula V Championship. Now we're into the lunch break, and we're going to